one of the things I've done on this channel before I started not posting on a regular basis in 2024 due to health issues was talking about food news. Things, the wacky ideas that vegans have, vegetarians have, what the food system is going to do. That's a big one. What the all too influential billionaire class want to do to us in the name of saving creation or whatever, right? It was only 2 years ago that they were openly talking about trying to ban meat. Clearly, the wind has gone out of their sails on that one. Not that they're not going to stop trying. But now, with the way the 2024 presidential election went, the elephant in the room in the United States is that RFK Jr. may very well end up as the Secretary for Health and Human Services. And one of the things he's talked openly about doing is fundamentally throwing the FDA and the USDA out the window, reformulating them and making them actually do decent things for people. I know, such a stretch to think that they might actually work towards the common interest of Americans regardless of ideology, but here we are. It may actually happen. And one of the topics he's talked about is seed oils. He is the one who made seed oils mainstream as a thing of discourse. Now, it helped in a lot of ways in the months leading up to him jumping into the public eye because of his affiliation with the incoming American president, is the very fact that this had been a topic bubbling under the surface for a couple of years, due in no small part to the increase in the carnivore diet and carnivore-adjacent diets like clean ketogenic diets and animal-based diets and all the rest. So we now have our first victory on that front because it does look like he's going to get in. According to sources within the GOP, he has the votes necessary to be confirmed to that post, including a couple of maybe Democrats joining him. And that's good because, yes, I'm talking politics here, but nutrition shouldn't be political. The letter after the last name of a member of Congress should have absolutely nothing to do with the quality of our food or whether or not you find seed oils and all the rest of it to be troubling at best. It should have nothing to do with it. But again, we live in an age where literally everything is political. We now have news of our first victory on this because oftentimes market forces will move in response to government regulation that they know is coming. And RFK is going to use administrative rule processes to try to get rid of seed oils, at least in some way or another. They've talked about trying to get McDonald's to go back to beef tallow fries and all the rest of it. And the market has responded already. So go to PR News Wire for this headline. Steak and Shake to use 100% beef tallow. Dated the 16th of January, yesterday, 2025. Steak and Shake is an international chain. You can find them in some airports and you can find them in, they have I think a location in London. They've got them around other places. But they started on Route 66. I live in Oklahoma. I live in the heart of near Route 66. You see Route 66 themed signs in places for businesses that aren't actually geographically close to Route 66. It's part of our culture here. This is one of the most American fast food chains out there, but it's also not everywhere in the United States. But this is not a small deal. They are going to switch to beef tallow for everything. That is a victory. They might be the first, but they're not going to be the last. I would keep an eye on groups like Buffalo Wild Wings, who have beef tallow for their wings. I think they still use seed oils for their fries and things like that, but it wouldn't be that hard for them to make that switch. There's going to be a consequence to this. Probably beef tallow is going to become expensive if you're using it already. If you are going to the store to buy the trimmings, you go to your butcher counter as carnivores to up that fat content of your diet. So you go there and you buy the trimmings from the meat counter. Which you can do. Sometimes some place will just give it to you, but in the last few years they've gotten savvy about that, so they charge you something, although I think it's only like $1 or $2 a pound for it. That's probably going to change. That's probably going to become harder because if more of these restaurants do this, they are going to realize the meat processing companies are going to realize suddenly this waste product that they had is not a waste product anymore, and it has a good source of revenue. Here are the details from PR Newswire. Quote, Steak and Shake announced today that it is moving forward with the use of 100% all-natural beef tallow in all its restaurants. Steak and Shake has long been famous for its shoestring fries, and it will now fry them in the best way possible. When fries were created centuries ago, they were made with tallow. Our fries will now be cooked in an authentic way. 100% beef tallow in order to achieve the highest quality and the best taste, said Chris Ward, Chief Supply Chain Officer for Steak 'n Shake. Chief Global Development Officer for Steak 'n Shake, Kristen Breed, stated, quote, "The consumer wants the best and deserves the best. By adopting 100% beef tallow, Steak 'n Shake is delivering the best fries possible. By the end of February 2025, all locations will use 100% all-natural beef tallow," end quote. That's good news. Now, if you're doing a carnivore diet, that doesn't really mean much, except now you can probably go to Steak 'n Shake and not worry about cross-contamination from seed oils, at least starting March 1st. But for a lot of people who are concerned about seed oils, they object to the carnivore diet because they believe that carbohydrates are part of a healthy diet for human beings. And I'm not going to wade into those waters here. This is a carnivore channel. You already kind of know that I tend to be pro-ketogenic diets in general, but this is good news. Unequivocally, this is good news. I've said this in a video before some months ago. My wife and I have been watching a show that's on, I want to say it's on Hulu. We haven't watched it in a while, but it's a show that's a quasi-documentary about it's called the American Way of Eating, right? And it's got a show, it's a show about the history of processed foods, basically, and where they come from, or where fast food comes from, or iconic brands of food, where they come from. They have an episode of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, to give you an idea. And they once had a graph on screen that showed like the rise in the fast food chains, and then another episode of rise in like boxed dinners and that kind of thing. And it looks suspiciously similar to the rise in heart disease charts that you've seen Dr. Berry or Dr. Baker use in their videos. And it became pretty obvious that fast food was a primary driver of seed oils. The more fast food options there were, the more people were going to eat of it. The more people ate of it, the more likely they were to get a heart disease because they were consuming more seed oils on top of everywhere else it was in the food chain. So this is good news because they won't be they may be the first to do this. They're not going to be the last. There is very little chance that that one of the other big ones won't be making a similar announcement here in the next few months. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Will it impact the cost of food? We shall see. We're talking again about beef tallow, which is made from rendered beef fat. And what happens with rendered beef fat? Typically thrown away. They keep some of it to, make that 73% fat ground beef in the store. Maybe they save some of it for some processed foods that use beef fat. But otherwise, it's thrown away. It's considered waste product. Not anymore. We'll see what it does. Now, there should be another consequence that could happen from this too. Remember, RFK Jr. is going to try to do something about seed oil. We'll see how far he can get without congressional legislation and how much he can get politicians to help him out on that. I'm not optimistic on that, but you might start seeing a cascading effect as people start taking the seed oil question more seriously. And that is, you might see beef tallow on the oil aisles of your grocery store. Sometimes it's there right now. Sometimes it's not. It all depends on the store you go to. I live near a major city, so sometimes if I go to a Walmart in the city, I'll find beef tallow. That was usually expensive. I saw beef tallow recently in a jar at Costco. I didn't buy it because I tend to cook with bacon grease, right? Like a lot of us do. And if I want beef tallow, I know how to make it. I have a video here on this channel about how to make beef tallow. It's not exactly hard. So I make it myself. But a lot of people don't want that. So you're probably going to see a cascading effect in the food system. But I'm curious what you think about this. Is this good news? Do you think this is going to be just a one and done? Are you waiting for McDonald's to do it before? Because if they do it, then Carl's Jr. and Hardee's and the rest of them will do it. Do you think this doesn't matter that much anyway for you personally? Because all you eat is steak and the rest of it. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, please. And like and subscribe if you haven't. It does help. So does sharing this on social media. That helps too. I'm Anthony Stine, the Practical Carnivore. Thanks for tuning in today.